What's up, guys? Brian Ellwood. Welcome back to the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. The leaves are turning here in Denver, starting to cool off. White girls are drinking their pumpkin spice lattes, so you know what time of year it is. I really love the fall, the weather, the colors, the fact that it's cooler out. I'm just so excited for wearing hoodies and jackets and beanies and all that cool stuff. Our team is actually going to the mountains next week for our team getaway in Breckenridge. We rent a cabin every year and just go hiking and build fires and play guitar and drink beer and play games and just sort of bond with one another and, do something fun besides work. It's really important to do that if you have a small team, to have regular team outings, something where you get to build a bond with each other that's based upon more than just getting work done. So we're doing that next week, and I'm really excited. Guys, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine just a second ago, and what we talked about was really important. I realized I need to talk about this on the podcast, so I'm jumping on here and recording this quick episode for you guys because you really need to know this as you go into the world of making offers, getting deals, buying houses, okay? So when I first got started in real estate, I was a wholesaler, right? And so I'd always be out looking for deals, hustling, finding deals, and then turning around trying to find buyers for those deals. And a lot of the time, I was really good at negotiating when it came to selling the deals to our buyers. I'd throw something out there for $50,000. Somebody would say, I can only pay $35,000, and I'd say, can't do it, sorry. And then they'd come back to 40, and I'd maybe come down to 48 or 47, and then we'd meet in the middle at 45, and I'd get what I wanted, just by being sort of tough and sticking to my guns. But there was always a couple of buyers who I could not ever get to budge. I'd offer something at 40,000, and they'd tell me, Brian, 30 is the most I can pay. I'd like to offer 30. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, right, this guy can definitely pay more than 30,000. He's just lowballing me. So I'd say, I can't do 30. Can we do 37? And his counter would be, no, 30,000. Can you do 35? No, 30,000. I mean, literally, he might come up to 31, but he'd be pissed off about it, and that would be a stretch. And somehow, those guys always got the best deals with me, because they just stuck to their guns. And I used to think that they were just assholes, or not really assholes, but tough negotiators. But I came to realize over the course of my career, once I pivoted and I started buying houses to keep, I came to realize that they were actually really smart, savvy, sophisticated investors who were sticking to their numbers and only getting the deals that made sense for them. You guys ever watch Shark Tank? It's one of my favorite TV shows. I've probably seen every single episode. And if you've seen it, then you know what I'm talking about when I say this. These sharks will make an offer to the entrepreneurs. And the entrepreneurs sometimes, or a lot of the time, will try to counter the shark's offer. And most of the time, the sharks say no. They say, that's my best offer. You can take it or leave it. I don't really care. It's up to you. And then the entrepreneurs all of a sudden lose the power on the situation. They're like, damn, I have to take this offer or it's going to go away or whatever. And it kind of seems like the shark is just being, ignorant or stubborn, that they won't negotiate at all. But the truth is what those sharks are doing is they are making an offer in such a way that if it gets accepted, it will be a good deal for them. They will be excited if the person says yes and accepts their offer because the numbers work out. It will be a successful investment if they get in, for that much of a discount. The same exact thing holds true in real estate. If you are a successful, savvy real estate investor, then you have to follow this as well. You have to run the numbers and see what you would really like to get this house for. Okay. So you ignore their asking price. And then that's one of the big takeaways from this episode is that asking price that something gets sent out at is just that. It's just a price that somebody slapped on something. It's the value that they think they can sell it at. It doesn't really mean anything. It's not really real. It's sort of an opinion of value, right? Wholesaler goes out and gets a deal locked up for 30. He comes to you and says, I want to make 10 on this. I'm going to sell it to him for 40. Who cares if he wants 40, right? All you care about is what price you would love to get it at to where you'd cash flow $250 a month in net rent. So if you run your numbers and you decide that, you know what, I actually have to get this thing for 30 if I'm going to cash flow up my $250 a month, but he wants 40 for it, and you start thinking too much. Like, oh, he wants 40. He probably has it under contract for 30. There's no way I can offer 30. He'll say no because he has no wiggle room. He'll make $0. That's all BS. Like, you've got to throw that conversation in your head out the window and don't care about it, because 30 is the real value of the property to an investor who knows what he or she is doing. If you make the offer of 30 to the wholesaler and they have it under contract for 30, of course they're not going to accept your offer, but they do have the option of going back to the seller and renegotiating to a price that's lower than 30 so that they have room to make an assignment fee. They can go back to the seller and say, you know what, I can't pay 30 anymore. I can pay 25 or 27 or whatever. Get a new contract signed, and then they come back to you and say, okay, we can do it at 30 now. That's happened to me multiple times, and I've done it when I was on the wholesaling end too. It works probably 30 to 50% of the time. If you have to go renegotiate because you offered too much up front, it works for them to go do that. So you stick to what you can pay. You do not get hypnotized by asking prices. Don't look at comps and round up. Don't look at rental comps and assume that, you can get more than what the other houses are getting. No, like if all the houses say that the rent in an area is $800, you run your numbers at $800 or less. Okay. If you want to be more conservative, don't run it at $825. Don't run it at $850 or any of that. Okay. Another thing to be tough on is terms. I've had wholesalers come to me and say, I want $40,000 for this. We need you to close in 10 days. We don't really do like inspections. Your earnest money goes hard right when you sign the contract. And I'm like, good luck, man. That's just not how I do business. I don't do business with people who have terms like that. Okay. Because I need time to get my inspection done, to get my contractor in there. I need to know how much it's really going to cost to get the house repaired. I'm not going to go off of what the wholesaler tells me because they're usually wrong because they just are not experts. It's nothing against them. But you don't have to deal with people who have ridiculous prices, ridiculous terms, or they won't let you do inspections, or they won't let you in the house and all this stuff. Like, you just say no and you move on and you find a better scenario. Okay. Here's the thing that you're going to learn. If you stick through this and you get your 12 houses and then you become like an experienced real estate investor, you're going to gain a level of confidence at the end of the road, at the finish line, so to speak, that allows you to sort of stick to your guns, right? You're going to learn to position yourself how you should. This is my offer. These are my terms. Take it or leave it, right? You're not going to be desperate for deals. You're not going to be swayed by what people tell you or any of that. That's how you're going to end up if you stick with this and you succeed, and you'll have the confidence to say, I'm not worried about it. Go sell that deal then, man. Another one will come along that works for me. So if you guys can be this way now, even if you're just getting started, you will have the level of success on each deal that an experienced investor has, because I'm telling you the difference between you and them, assuming you're not experienced yet. You might be. I don't know exactly, everyone that's listening to this episode. But rather than, getting manipulated, paying too much, overestimating things, having deals like, not work out so well for you, where you have to sell houses and you lose money on houses and you get taken advantage of, you get lied to, you agree to some terms that you really weren't super comfortable with, and you get burned a bunch of times. Rather than doing that and then saying, you know what, that's it, I'm going to start putting my foot down and only doing deals where the numbers make sense. Instead of going through that path, if you guys can just be that way now, I know it's easier said than done because experience makes us who we are in a big way. But if you can just act as if you're already that person now, then your positioning will be different. People will respect you more. They're not going to try and nickel and dime you or propose ridiculous terms for you or ignore your phone calls or any of that stuff that people will do to you if you let them do it to you. Okay. It's really no different than any other normal relationship. You let somebody run over you, they will. So positioning is everything. Sticking to your numbers is everything in this business, guys. But the most important thing just to sort of take away from this, okay, when it comes to you being successful as an investor, is when you run your numbers, make sure there's enough equity, enough cash flow on that deal, whatever it is you really want, okay? And I like at least $250 a month in net rent. And I'm talking on paying like $50,000 all in, purchase plus rehab. If I'm going to buy a house for $100,000, I would want even more than that, or I'd rather just buy two $50,000 houses. And then I want terms, right? I want 10 days where I can, I'll mail an earnest money check to the title company, but I want 10 business days to get my contractors in there to confirm what I'm being told, that the house really only needs $10,000 in repairs. If I can confirm that, the earnest money goes hard. They can keep it no matter what happens. If I don't, I get to back out within that 10-day period. My earnest money check gets returned to me. I don't lose any money, and we go our separate ways. I back out of the contract or renegotiate or whatever, right? So make sure that the price and the terms are what you really want it to be. Don't care about people's asking price. Don't stretch your offer to try and make people happy or get the deal done. Just wait for another deal. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And guys, did you know that owning 12 rental properties is the same as making $50,000 a year at a normal job? And even if they all have loans against them. It's crazy. So you guys have a choice. You can either work for 40 hours a week, make $50,000 a year, pay your bills. It's the average American income. Or you can hustle and get 12 rental properties over the next year or two, let those pay your bills, and start doing things you love, building businesses you love, buying even more rentals, traveling, exploring your hobbies, passions. It all starts with getting your first 12 rentals, guys. That is the platform upon which you can springboard into literally whatever you want to do in the life you want. So if you guys are interested in learning how exactly to get your first 12 houses, even if you don't have any money, or you don't live somewhere where houses are affordable, or you don't have more than 1 or 2 hours a week to put towards this, doesn't matter. I'll show you how. Go to myfirst12houses.com, myfirst12houses.com, the number 12, and register for this week's live web class every Thursday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and I'll show you guys the business. See you there.